Hello dear learners, I, A.S. Kulkarni, welcome you on my presentation Hospital Manufacturing. So today we will see the process of sterile manufacturing for small volume parenteral and evaluation of parenteral preparations. Learning outcomes of today's presentation are: after completion of this presentation, you will be able to understand the process of preparation of small volume parenterals. Also, you will be able to apply the quality control test for evaluation of parenteral preparation. Roadmap of today's presentation: first, we will go for process of sterile manufacturing. Mainly, we will see here the small volume parenteral manufacturing processes. Afterwards, we will go for evaluation of parenteral preparations. So, first we will see process of sterile manufacturing. So here we will consider the small volume parenterals here. So here so many steps which are involved in fabrication of small volume parenterals. So it starts from preparation of containers and ends with product packing. So many steps which are involved here. So let's see the various steps. So first step is here the preparation of containers. So the containers which are required to pack the finished product. So here that containers which are sterilized and clean in this step. Second step, preparation of closures for vials. So mainly these vials are used for the small volume parenterals, as well as ampules are also used there. So that depends on what type of dose which to be packed. So here closures which are selected here, and it is kept in that particular solution which is used for the finished product. Third steps which are involved the actual formulation, the compounding of the formula. And next step is here, that is packing. So after the preparation, so there is a necessary to pack that particular product in suitable container. So that packing is done in this step. And last here, sampling and testing. So evaluation test which is done on this particular parenteral preparations. So let's see one by one. So first step here, that is preparation of containers. So in these steps, the containers which are subjected for washing and cleaning with distilled water. And also here some chemicals which are used to clean the containers. But if the chemicals is used, so it is kept in mind that on the surfaces of that container the detergent should not be present. So if chemicals is used, so the surfaces should be clean after that cleaning process. So that time here distilled water which are used. So here the detergent should be removed after the cleaning. Also, if there is a necessary to sterilize that particular container, so mainly dry heat sterilization method is used. So here hot air oven is mainly used for the dry heat sterilization purpose. So in these steps, the containers which are cleaned and sent to the packing area. So second step, the preparation of closures for vials. So here the rubber closures which are mainly used to seal the mouth of small volume parenteral container. So that rubber is used due to the properties of that particular rubber. So like elasticity is there, so that particular rubbers allow to pass the needles at the time of withdrawal. When the needles which is removed, so it goes to its normal state, so the chances of contamination will be stopped there. So here on this rubber closures, the treatment is given, or that particular steps which is carried out with the help of soap solution. So the washing, cleaning and rinsing with distilled water to remove the detergent which is present on the surfaces of the rubber closures. So after that, the rubbers which are soaked with the same additives being used in the formulation for 24 hours. So after that, there is a rinsing of that rubber closures and drying is done of the closures. After that, these closures which are used for closing of mouth of the container. So here mainly closures which are prepared with the some treatment with the chemical or the soap solution. So let's move to the third step. So formulation is here. So in this step, the weighing of required materials as per the batch card is done. So whatever the quantity which is required, it should be weighed with the, or should be taken with accurate quantity. So after the weighing, the dissolution or dissolving that particular ingredients in a sequence in the vehicle which is carried out. So sequence is very important here. So after dissolving or after the formation of that particular solution, there is a need to adjust the volume as well as the pH of that particular preparation. After adjustment of volume and pH, the filtration is done with the help of the suitable filter medias. So filtration is used here to remove the larger particles or to remove complete solid or the liquid particles from the solution. So after filtration, so here that product which is filter that will be filled in the container. So here at the time of filling of a product in the container, aseptic condition should be maintained. So here aseptic condition means that particular area doesn't have any microorganisms or the particulate matter. So that aseptic area is maintained with the aseptic technique. So aseptic technique is a method used to prevent the access of microorganisms. So at the time of filling, it is necessary to maintain the aseptic condition, because these products which are directly injected to the body. So if there is a contamination with the product, so that will be directly affect to the patient. So to avoid such a problems, so here aseptic condition should be implemented. So after the filling, so next step is there, that is sealing or capping of the containers. So at the time of sealing, here rubber closures which are mainly used, or that depends on the type of that particular products to be packed, or the containers which are used there for the filling. So after filling, so it is necessary to sterilize the product. So next step is here the sterilization of a product. So if that particular sterilization process is done after the filling the final product into the container, that is called as terminal sterilization. So here sterilization is done on that particular product. So these steps which are involved in the formulation of small volume parenteral. So let's see the next steps which are involved in this manufacturing of small volume parenteral. So packing is the next step. So here actually visual inspection is done with that container. If there is any leakage, so that particular container which are rejected, as well as labeling is also done. So label should be appropriate, or it gives the information of the product which is stored in it. So that labeling should be proper. So after labeling that particular containers which are packed in the carton, boxing or packing of the boxes. So here actually packing is done with that particular product with proper labeling. So this includes in the packing step. So the last steps for the small volume parenteral manufacturing is sampling and testing. So here actually evaluation is done on the that particular product. So that evaluation is done as per the official pharmacopoeia or the pharmacopoeia or the monograph of that particular drug. So here that sampling and testing is done with the three categories, or that test which are categorized in a three groups. That is physical testing is done, also chemical and the microbiological. So physical testing, that is the supervision of that particular containers for the leakage and clarity. So chemicals, so here the pH of that particular product which is checked, and last microbiological test is also done with that product. So here the sterility testing as well as pyrogen testing is done on that particular product. So these steps which are involved in the manufacturing of small volume parenterals. So the first step we have seen, that is preparation of container. Second step, preparation of closures for vials. Third step include the formulation of that particular parenteral preparation. Next step, that is packing of the prepared formulation, and the last step involve the sampling and testing of the parenterals. So let's move forward. So before going to that particular point, here is a reflection spot for you. How will you evaluate the parenteral preparation? So you just pause the presentation, try to write the answer for it, and then play the presentation. Yes, you are right. Let's move forward. So in this we will see the evaluation of parenterals. So many tests or the evaluation which is done with the parenteral products, because they are directly administered to the body. So if there is a contamination or the other products or other particles which is present in that product, so definitely they will produce some adverse reaction or some hypersensitivity reaction, as well as the unwanted effect. So this evaluation is done as per the official pharmacopoeia or the monograph of that particular product. So these evaluation tests which are categorized in three groups. So first, the physical test on that particular containers. Chemical test is also done with that the product, and the microbiological test. So what tests which are included in this different categories? So let's see. In the physical test, the leakage and clarity test is done on that particular container. After, here in this chemical test, pH assay and limit test which are involved, and in the microbiological test, sterility testing, pyrogen and LAL test which are involved. So let's see one by one. So first test, we'll see here the first category, that is physical test. So it includes the leak test. So here that particular containers which are checked for the leakage. So for that purpose, here leak test apparatus is used. So the ampules which are kept in the vacuum pump under the negative pressure, that is the less pressure as compared to the environment, so that should be maintained there. So if there is a leakage, so the content will be oozes out. So contents will be comes out from that particular ampules. So after the ampules which are submerged in a dye solution, so that solution is 1% methylene blue. So the dye enters the leaked ampule, which turns the color of the product blue. So if there is a leakage of that particular container, so definitely the dye will be enters to that particular product and the product will be in blue color. So you can see in this picture, so this is an leak test apparatus. So here in this particular object, so here the methylene blue solution which are involved. So here the ampules which are submerged in it, and that particular product stored in the ampule will be in blue color if there is a leakage. So that particular leaked ampules which are rejected there. So this is about the leakage test. So just remember here these 1% methylene blue solution which are used to check the leakage of that container, and if there is a leakage, so that particular ampules which are rejected. So let's move to next test, that is clarity test. So here clarity machine with white and black background with adequate light is used to observe the clarity of product. You can see in this picture, so this is on white background, this is on black background. So under this or inside this there is an light section. So adequate light is necessary to observe the clarity of that product. So here this white background which are used to inspect the black particulate matter which is present in the that particular container. So with the help of this white background, so that particular black particles will be visible or that can be observed easily. So this black background which are used to inspect white particulate matter which is present in that. So by using these two background, so here clarity of that particular product which is performed. So here injectable solution should be essentially free from visible particulate matter. So if not, so that can be observed by using this equipment. So the parenteral preparation should be clear solution. So this is an clarity apparatus test which is used to check the clarity of the parenteral preparations. So this is about the clarity test. So by using these two background here, this test which is performed. So let's move the second category, that is chemical test. So here so many tests which are performed on that particular parenteral preparations, like pH is there, as well as the assay is also done with that, the parenteral preparation, and the limit test for the different material, as well as the oxidizing matters are conducted as per the monograph in the pharmacopoeia. So here for the pH, here digital pH meter is used. So the solutions which are taken in the beaker and the test which is performed, so it will give the reading of that particular pH of the product. So as well as the assay and limit test which is also done with the product to check the percentage purity of that particular product, or to find out the other non-required material in it. So here the chemical test which is done on the parenteral preparations. So let's move to the third category, that is microbiological test. So here is an inspecting or the checking of microorganism is present in that particular product or not. So for the viable microorganism or viable matter, so it includes the sterility test. So it ensures that the sterility status of the product, so that product should be sterile one, so that product should not contain any microorganisms, because these are the parenteral preparations which are directly injected to the body. So all the procedures which is done by strictly adopting aseptic technique under the laminar airflow bench in a sterile area. So at the time of the sterility testing, here that testing is done under the aseptic condition. So here for the sterility testing, laminar airflow bench is used. So all these procedures which are done in that laminar airflow bench by maintaining all the aseptic conditions. So you can see in this picture, so that particular person which is done the sterility test by using this laminar airflow bench. So it helps to prevent the access of microorganisms from the outside. If you are doing this test by or in non-aseptic condition, so there will be chances to entry of microorganisms in the product. So to avoid such a problem, so it is necessary to do that particular test, that is sterility test, under the aseptic condition. So here the laminar airflow is used for the sterility testing. So it involves the different steps. So here the product which to be checked with the sterility or for the sterility, so that product is firstly filtered through the membrane filter. So a membrane filter is used. So the pore size of the membrane filter is 0.22 micron. So the particles, or if the microorganisms is present in that particular product, should be filtered there, or that will be filtered there. So after the filtration, here that particular media which is used for the filtration purpose, that media is transferred to the sterile media with some nutrient material for the growth of a microorganism. So here the specific nutrient material is used to grow that microorganisms which is present in that, if there. So after that, that particular mixture or the sample which is subjected or placed in incubator. So here incubator is used to grow the bacteria if present in that particular product. So that particular sample which is placed in an incubator with specific temperature with the definite period of time. So after that there will be a result, either that microorganisms will be grow there or will not be grow there. If the growth is happen there or growth is observed, so it indicate that the microorganisms are present in the product. And if the growth is not observed, so we can say that that particular product is sterile. So that depends on the result, either there is any growth or not. So this is about the sterility test which is done on the parenteral preparations to check the presence of microorganisms in that the product or not. So let's move to next test, that is pyrogen test. So it is very important test, so which is done or which is performed on the parenteral preparation, because pyrogens are the harmful substance. So pyrogens are metabolic product of living or dead microorganisms, so which causes the rise in body temperature. So this pyrogen test is done on the selected healthy rabbits. So here pyrogen test is done by using the rabbit method. So we'll see here. So this test is performed in two stages, that is preliminary test and the main test. So in this preliminary test, here rabbits which will be selected for the test. So that preliminary test is done for the selection of a rabbit for the pyrogen testing. And in main test, so here the actually sample which is introduced to the rabbit, and there will be a checking of a temperature. The temperature will be increased or decreased, so that will be checked there. So let's see here the first preliminary test. So it is also called as a sham test. So here the rabbits which are used or which are selected here. So here this particular preliminary test is done for the selection of the animal. So here that particular rabbits which is selected here, so this sham test is being used for the selection of the rabbit. So this rabbit should not be used for the previous or any test from the last 2 weeks. So or the first time animals will be selected there. So this test performed for 1 to 3 days by giving warm sterile water for injection or sterile saline solution at 10 ml per kg of the body weight of that particular rabbit. So it requires the 3 days for the selection. So here the dose is given of that particular sterile water for injection or sterile saline solution So that depends on the dose is depends on the weight of that particular rabbit. So the dose is 10 ml per kg. So here, before introducing that particular sterile water for injection or the sterile saline, so there will be a checking of the body temperature of that particular rabbit. So the body temperature which is noted before introducing the sterile saline to the rabbit, and also the temperature is checked after the introducing of that particular sterile saline solution. So here the recording of body temperature prior to 90 minutes for 3 hours is done. So if any rabbit shows the difference of 0.6 degrees centigrade or more, so that particular rabbit is not selected for the test. So here the difference between the temperature is checked, so before administration of that particular sample or after administration. If the difference is more than the 0.6 degrees centigrade, so then that particular rabbit will not be selected for the further test. So you just remember here, the preliminary test is done for the selection of a rabbit for the pyrogen testing. So let's move forward. So here we will see the main test actually. So the actually parenteral preparation which is introduced here, and there is a checking of the temperature, either rising or the temperature of that particular rabbit or the same temperature. So this test is carried out on a group of 3 rabbits. So 3 rabbits which are selected here for actual testing. So the initial temperature which is recorded at 60 and 90 minutes before the administration. After that, here the product is warmed at 38 degrees centigrade and then it is introduced in ear of a marginal vein of the rabbit. So for checking here, that particular thermometer is used. So the temperature is recorded to further 3 hours at an interval of 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, so the temperature will be noted there, and here is the maximum temperature is selected for the determination of the difference. So here the initial temperature and the final temperature. So final temperature is selected, that is the maximum temperature after administration of the actual sample, and the difference will be calculated there. If the difference is more than 0.6 degrees centigrade for the single rabbit, or in group 1.4 degrees centigrade, then here or it indicates that the pyrogen which is present in the sample. Or further, here another 5 rabbits which are selected for the further testing. If the previous 3 rabbits shows the difference more than or exceed the 0.6 degrees centigrade in a single, or in a group 1.4 degrees centigrade. If the difference is more, then that sample which is introduced in additional 5 rabbit. And also there will be checking of the difference or the temperature, either that temperature will be increased there or the same. So the temperature should not be more than 3.7 degrees centigrade with the 5 rabbits. If more than that, so definitely it indicates that the pyrogens are present in the sample. Okay, so this is about the main test. So here the sample is actually introduced to the rabbits and there will be a checking of the temperature. If the temperature is increased, so definitely it indicates that there is an presence of pyrogen in the sample. Okay, so let's move forward. So here we'll see the LAL test. So this test is also used to determine the pyrogen and bacterial endotoxin of a gram-negative bacteria. So LL test means Limulus amoebocyte lysate test. So here the lysate of horseshoe crab is used for the checking of a pyrogen in the sample. So here the product, that is the sample, is mixed with the lysate. After that, if there is a presence of a pyrogen, so there is an formation of the coagulase. So if the pyrogen is present in the product and that product will be mixed with the lysate, so there is an formation of coagulase. If the coagulation present in the blood, then there is a formation of a gelatinous clot or the coagulin. So it means if the pyrogen is present in the product, so there is a formation of a gelatinous clot, and if the formation of gelatinous clot is not observed, so it indicates that the pyrogen which is not present in the product. So here the lysate of horseshoe crab is used for determination of pyrogen and the bacterial endotoxin in the product. So just remember here the lysate which is mixed with the product, and if there is a formation of a gelatinous clot, so it indicates that there is a presence of pyrogen. And if the gelatinous clot is not observed there, so it indicates that that particular product doesn't have the pyrogen or the bacterial endotoxin. So this is about the LL test, so which are used to check the pyrogen is present in the parenteral preparation or not. So we have seen that physical test. So under this we have seen the clarity test and leakage test. So in next category we have seen that the chemical test, which is also performed on the parenteral preparation. So in that chemical test, pH testing as well as assay or limit test, which is done on the parenteral preparation. And in last category we have seen the microbiological testing. So in the microbiological testing, sterility testing is done on the product, as well as pyrogen test is also done with that product. And last we have seen the LL test for checking of the pyrogen or bacterial endotoxin in the product. So let's move forward. So in these we'll see the different conditions which are required in case of parenterals. So what conditions to be fulfilled by the parenterals? So in that first, so that particular parenteral preparation should be clear solution. So here that particular parenteral should not have the any particulate matter. So second condition, this particular parenteral preparation should be free from solid and liquid particles. So third condition, so it shall be free from inert gases. Fourth, so this particular parenteral preparation must be isotonic with the blood plasma, because we are directly injecting this particular preparation to the body. If the isotonicity is not maintained, so there will be some hypersensitivity reaction or some of the others. So that's why it is necessary to maintain the isotonicity of the parenteral preparations. So it should be clinically compatible with the additives and container. So there will not be any reaction with the additives and the container. As well as parenteral preparation must be non-toxic and non-irritant. So it should not act as a toxic material after its administration, as well as should not causes any irritation after its administration. Also, that particular parenteral preparation must be stable physically and chemically. If not, so there will be some unwanted effect will be happen after its administration. So that particular parenteral preparation must be non-pyrogenic, because pyrogenic matter which is harmful to the body. So there will be a rise in body temperature if the pyrogen present in the parenteral preparation. And it must be sterile one. So that parenteral preparation should not have any microorganism or viable material in it. So these conditions should be fulfilled by the parenteral preparation. If you have any question, you can drop your question or query on my WhatsApp number or on my email ID. At last, thank you very much for the patient listening. Thank you.